So, as some of you may know, I've started taking long walks during the pandemic. Started with 5, then 6 to 8. And then a few weeks ago, during one of my 15-mile walks to get some pumpkin butter mochi kouign-amann, Dylan and Zahn, let me know when you learn how to bake those. I will definitely come over and pick some up. I walked by the Diamond Head Theater, and seeing the theater reminded me of how much the arts have helped me during the pandemic. There's this quote that the New York Times article about theater in 2020 that goes, let me go ahead and show you. Even considering the disaster that divided it into before and after, I found the theater was still doing what it does at its best, showing us how we live right now and how we might live better. Oh, I'm just so incredibly, it's just such a powerful statement. The visual and performing arts have brought so much to my life. And I know the pandemic has been especially devastating to this industry that relies on bringing people together. I've been trying to figure out how I could help performing arts nonprofits during these difficult times. And so that's why I was so thrilled when my dear friend Natasha reached out about bringing her Chai for Charity fundraisers into the virtual space. So you'll hear more about Chai for Charity a little bit later, but what I love about this amazing organization is how they inspire people to give in creative ways through diverse, accessible options. And so today, I'm thrilled to be highlighting and supporting a nonprofit that I'm so deeply passionate about. As I mentioned, as I was walking by the Diamond Head Theater, I remember watching Once Upon One Time many years ago. How many of my Hawaii friends remember that show? Any of you? Any of you? So yes, Zahn. Okay, so Once Upon One Time is a musical fairy tale adaptation told in a local Hawaiian style. And I remember absolutely loving this version where the fairy tale characters like Cinderella and like the mean stepmother look like and spoke pidgin like people in Hawaii. It was empowering and validating and inspiring, which is why I'm so excited to share more about the work that East West Players does today. As the nation's longest running professional theater of color and the largest producing organization of Asian American artistic work, I am so grateful that they are making sure that my stories, Asian Pacific Islander stories, authentically are being told, and they're working to increase access, inclusion, and representation across the performing arts and entertainment industry. Also noteworthy is that of the 3 performing arts organizations that I highlighted as part of this Try for Charity series, East West Players is the only one with a brick and mortar physical theater. So I hope when everything opens up again, you'll join me in seeing a performance at East West Players in LA's Little Tokyo. And so with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Kiyomi Emi from East West Players.
I have to unmute myself. Monica, bravo. That was amazing.
Aww.
You are hired for spokesperson of East West Players. We love that. We love your support. And thank you for everyone for joining tonight. It's really an honor to be highlighted here with the Try for Charity and with Monica. As Monica was saying, East West Players was founded in 1965. Thanks, Steph. Was founded in 1965 by 9 Asian American artists: Mako, Ray Creevy, Beulah Kuo, Suntek O, James Hong, Pat Lee, June Kim, Guy Lee, and Yet Luck. Actually, I got to meet many of them, which was wonderful in the day. And they created this theater because of the fact that they weren't getting roles and there wasn't representation in the industry. They wanted to showcase that they can actually act. They can actually do work that was Chekhov, Shakespeare, Sondheim, musical theater, etc. So they started this movement way beyond what we are experiencing now. So how timely is that these 9 individuals were so forward thinking in their artistic vision. And I just love it too. I grew up, knowing about East West Players. When they were on Santa Monica, I was on the board then when we moved them from from Santa Monica to Little Tokyo. And Snehal Desai, our current artistic director, roped me into being on the board about 2 years ago. You'll meet Snehal later. He's fantastic. I just adore him. And he's given so much energy and new vision and new artistic leadership to the organization. So let's play the clip about what we're doing for our digital series for this year, since we can't get together in person and we are starving. I know I'm starving. Who's starving for theater? Who's starving for anything live performance? Raise your hand. I am. I don't know about y'all, but I certainly am. So let's roll the clip of our first performance, which will be next Saturday. Daniel Ho will be performing a virtual concert. Let's go ahead.
Just a very short clip. Here you go.
Very short clip. And this is Nicole.
Oh, Nicole, I think there's no sound.
Let's start it again from here.
Eating out one day, I heard somebody say, gee, things ain't like what they used to be. I work 3 times as hard, the car's rusting in the yard. My house ain't worth half what it used to be. Things are changing all around, the market's up, the market's down. But hey, we're living in paradise and it's cool, 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 yeah. Ooh, I got sun in my eyes. Ooh, dreaming on a clear blue sky. Ooh, I got sun in my eyes. We're living in paradise.
There you go.
Thank you, Nicole. That's lovely. Dylan, I love that you picked up your son and showing him the video. Did he enjoy it?
He did. Thank
Yes?
you.
Yay.
Yeah.
That was so awesome. So awesome. So that is the first production of our digital series at East West Players, and we hope you can join us. You can go to ewp.com, and Nicole and Snehal will talk about more of the options and the rest of the series later. But in order to be mindful of time, we have a very special guest that actually Monica bid on at our spring silent auction because we couldn't gather for our gala. So we did an online auction and Monica won this amazing prize. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce this person and you'll find out who it is in a moment. Before I do that though, when I introduce this person, we're going to do some Q&A. So in the chat, please put in your questions and I'll ask this person those questions as well. Okay, this person is an American actress, voice artist, former fashion model, beauty queen who was Miss Teen USA in 1985 and Miss Hawaii USA in 1993. This person starred as Dr. Ray Chang on the American television soap opera Sunset Beach and as Michelle Chan on the American television police drama series Nass Bridges. This person also starred in numerous films, including Scorpion King, as Cassandra, Cradle, 2, The Grave as Sona, X2 as Yuriko Oyama and Lady Deathstrike, The Tournament as Lai Lai Zen and Chen Pei Pei in Martial Law. This person has reoccurring roles as Pearl on CW series Vampire the Diaries, as China White in the CW Arrow, as Abigail Cho in sci-fi series Warehouse 13, Stacey Hirano, goodness gracious, I can't even say that word, in the animated series Phineas and Ferb, and as teenage Hamato Miwa and Kai Rai in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and as Adira in Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure. That was a lot. Well, if you can't guess, this person is female. Hello. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Miss Kelly Hu. Yay!
Hey.
Kelly!
Hi.
Kelly!
Monica, you were asking all these questions and I was like, I want to raise my hand. I want to do thumbs up or thumbs down or, I wanted to be part of it. And now I can. Yay. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Kelly, for doing this so much. Thank you.
Can I just tell you guys now, before we start asking questions about me, I just want to tell you that all this talk about East-West players and Hawaii and seeing the hula reminds me of Ko Wolford. Everybody know Ko? Oh, miss him so much. Anyway, so one of my first introductions to like seeing a live performance at East-West Players was when Ko did his Island one-man show. It was amazing.
Yeah. Kelly, so how is all this pandemic stuff work? What have you been doing during this time?
Well, obviously, I haven't been doing any kind of on-camera stuff, even though there have been productions that have gone back and stuff. I'm chicken, yeah. I don't want to. I don't want to get the COVID. But I have been doing a lot of voiceover stuff. So, I upped my internet and got on the business plan and I upgraded, my little studio in-house studio here. And I've also been able to do it because they send me these kits with the rig, with a microphone and a computer, and give me like the whole setup that I can do. I can set up myself, and then then they come and they take it away because you cannot keep it. But yeah, so it's been great that I've been able to keep up with at least the voiceover stuff. It's been fun to be able to do that and just feel like I'm still connected, to the industry and being able to work even though I cannot do on-camera stuff.
Yeah. So with all of your titles, Miss Teen and Miss Hawaii, which is so
long time
amazing.
ago.
So long time.
I'm so old lady now.
Oh, you are so not.
I'm the old lady with the pink hair.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah. But it's good pink hair. I like the pink hair.
Thank you. I did this myself. I did this
You
myself.
did not.
And I watched it like 4 or 5 times and it didn't fade. I'm scared now. It's never gonna fade, and I'll never get hired as the lady with the pink hair. Anyway, that's okay. Wig.
We like the pink hair.
Thank you. I do too. I love it.
It's kind of like the hairdo you had in the movie that you did with Ko. No, was it pink or was it just up and crazy?
No, it wasn't pink. That was just the bar lighting.
It was just the bar lighting. So, hey, tell us about that experience though when you were working on the movie with him. Because we all miss him and we all love him so much, and we were all good friends with him. Yeah. So tell us about that movie and.
I don't know how many of you guys got to see Haumana, but it was a movie that Ko wrote and directed and produced. And he was actually going to star in it as well. I was like, whoa, brah, too much hats. But he wrote this amazing character called Linda, who was this who was a bartender, and it was originally written for like a linebacker size, like football player type, guy, actually transgender. So it was supposed to be like this really like big mahu, and then Tracy LaRua, who was, good friends with Keo and was helping him do the casting, said, I know the perfect person for this. Like, Kelly who? Because, after like, a couple of these, I'm like full on linebacker size mahu. And so anyway, I got to use my Pidgin English, which is my first language, for the very first time. And it was so much fun being able to play this character. Like, nobody recognizes me. I'm like, Kawila Barber did my hair and makeup. So I really look like a woman who's been around the block, who was raised by a bunch of mahus. But it was so fun and freeing to be able to do this character and to be directed by Kale, who was absolutely a pleasure to work with. Yeah, so that was, I swear to God, that's my favorite character I've ever played.
Yeah, you said that before, which I love. That's why I thought, well, let's bring it up. So I remember you talked about one time how, your titles, Teen Hawaii, we'll go back to that question, to Teen and then the Miss Hawaii. You wanted to, it provided you many opportunities. So what opportunities did it provide for you?
Well, before winning Miss Teen, I was raised in Hawaii by a single mom who was just, struggling to make ends meet. She never had less than like 3 jobs. She was always like working so hard, and winning the pageant, the prize package back in the 80s, when pageants were huge, right? And everybody had money back in the 80s, not anymore. But
Right.
the prize packages were huge, and I won over 150,000 in cash and prizes, including a car and a mink coat, which did me no good in Hawaii, but a boat, all that's, like, huge. So it gave me the financial freedom to be able to move to Los Angeles right after I graduated high school, and pursue my career in acting, and gave me like some on-camera experience. And I still didn't know anybody when I moved to LA. But I got cast in my very first show on Growing Pains, when the Seavers went to Hawaii on vacation, and I was cast as Mike Seavers' love interest, a tour guide with like a 2-year-old child. I was like 17 with a 2-year-old child, so Hawaii back then, yeah. And then so I got that role while I was still living in Hawaii. And then because of that, I was able to move to LA with like 1 credit under my belt. And then I lied about the rest on my resume. Because back then there was no internet, right? Nobody could like tell you were wrong. And, I had like all kinds of stuff that like, like made up indie films, and I said that I was in South Pacific, and I don't even sing. Okay, it was that much of a lie. It was such a stretch. Now you cannot do that, obviously, because people can look stuff up on the internet and know you're lying. But yeah, I made up a full-on resume before I even stepped foot in Los Angeles. I only had one credit. I didn't know anybody. I moved before the show even aired. That's what I meant to say. It was a big lag time because it was like the season premiere, and it was like a 2-part special. So there was like maybe a month and a half, I think, maybe in between. I cannot remember exactly, but it was a long time. Not like usual, how TV goes so fast. It's like you film and then, 2 weeks later it's on the air. But between, filming and when it was on air, I just took that opportunity and I moved to Los Angeles, not knowing anybody. And I I found an agent right away because of my made up resume. And I took a full page ad in Variety the day that the show aired. Like, you know, I had so much chutzpah. When you're, you know, when you're young and, you know, 18, I was like, I didn't know that it was supposed to be hard. And I didn't know that, you know, that's just not what people do. Because I figured, you know, go big or go home. Yeah. So I took out a
Yeah.
full page ad in Variety announcing that I was now available for West Coast representation. and I got like 20 calls from agents and everything before the show even aired that night. Because everybody was, because there were no Asians. There were hardly any Asians back then on television, right? There were just a handful of us girls in Los Angeles at the time. There was like Tamilyn Tomita, Tia Carrera, you know, Lucy Liu wasn't even on the scene yet, thank goodness, because I would never have
Right.
worked. Ming Na wasn't even around yet. I mean, it was very, very limited. And so everybody wanted to have, you know, a young Asian girl on their roster. And everybody wanted to know, who is this girl, like, you know, with the full page ad in Variety. But little did they know, yeah, my whole resume was fake. But I did good in the room. I did good interview, and so I was able to land a great agent. I signed with a company, a small boutique agency called STE, who later combined with a bunch of companies and became Paradigm. And then yeah, so it was just lucky break after lucky break after lucky break, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're awesome. You're awesome in every role. But how do you think, you know, because
Thank
you're talking
you.
about the early days, you're welcome. You know, you're talking about the early days of, you know, the industry, like nobody's around. So how do you think it's changed to now, especially with all of this, the movement, right? Of all the BIPOC movement and representation on air and casting and such.
Well, it's a whole different world now, right? I
Mm.
mean, there's so many more Asian actors and actresses, which is wonderful to see. You know, just so many more of them on TV. I just discovered this series yesterday on Netflix. Is it called The Kims?
Yeah.
It's so
Kim's Convenience. Yeah. Uh-huh.
yes, so
Yeah.
funny. I mean, it was. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Martial Law might have been one of the first regular series with an Asian lead. You know, although Samuel was from Hong Kong, but Asian, not Asian American necessarily, but Asian lead. You know, so it wasn't until much later that you know, Asians were even considered for lead roles on TV series. So yeah, it is a whole different world now.
Yeah, it's totally a different world. So we just have a few more moments. So I wanted to ask you, you know, what is your center? Because you're always so centered and zen about life and things. Well, you are. You know what I'm talking about,
I don't mean
girl.
to sound like an alcoholic. I only just started drinking again. I didn't drink for like 20 years because I thought
Yeah.
I was allergic to alcohol, right? Because I get the Asian flush and all that kind of stuff. And as it turns
And I
out,
will vouch for her on that. 'Cause
yeah,
she didn't
20
drink for
years. I didn't
20
drink.
years.
Because every time I drank, I got really sick and ill. And then one day somebody was like, you know, they were sipping like tequila, and I'd never seen anybody sip tequila before. I was, you know, to me it was always the shot and the lime and the and anyway, so come to find out, I'm only allergic to shitty alcohol. Because when you're in your 20s, that's all you can afford, right? Shitty alcohol. And now that I, you know, I have a little bit of money, I can buy the good stuff. And now I realize I can actually drink. So yes, hello. Hey, cheers, Sherwin. Cheers.
So besides the alcohol.
Oh, sorry, what was the question?
So besides the alcohol, girl, what's keeping you kind of centered? What's your mantra, man? What's your, you know, what's
You mean
your
through
zen?
COVID or just life in general?
Just life, you know?
You know, I think the gratitude, I don't take myself seriously, you know, because I know what a goofball I am. And, you know, all my friends know, you guys all know, I'm like, I just know how lucky I am to be where I am. And I'm just always so grateful that I'm even here, like getting to do what I love to do. And I have so many friends, and I have an older brother especially who thinks it's his mission in life to keep me humble. But you know, I have like really awesome grounded friends, and I think that really helps, right? When you surround yourself with good people who are not constantly blowing smoke up your butt, you know, who help you to keep it real, you know, and just the gratitude, right? The gratitude is the key to happiness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But so Kelly's launched this new amazing clothing line. You want to talk about that,
Yes.
darling?
Wait, I gotta stand up. I
Please?
gotta show you my shirt.
Oh,
There we go. Kindness. That's one of them.
goodness.
Yeah. So yeah, it happened in COVID. During COVID, you know, like even before COVID, I was just, it's been so crazy how this world is so divided, right? Everything seems so extreme and polarized. And I just thought there's got to be more people like myself who are not completely one side or the other, that want to bring people together, that want to help bridge the gap and create unity. And so, especially, you know, during all of the protests and all of that craziness, I thought I'm going to do a line of t-shirts just to help promote this unity. And so the first t-shirts that I designed were just very simple, with the words unity written in different skin colors. So that's my whole, all of the line is about different gradient of skin tones. And so words like unity, American, even. I did the American shirt, especially because so many Asians were being told to go back to China, right, during this COVID period. And I just thought, you know, we are all Americans, no matter what your skin color is. So I made a shirt that said American in different skin colors. So it's all about diversity and unity and equality and love. You know, it's really I think something that everyone can get behind, no matter where you are on the political spectrum.
Yeah, that's
Oh, it's
and
called
they're
33
fan.
Edge. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a name.
I was like, wait, don't forget the name.
Yeah,
Hey,
33
Monica,
Edge.
33 Edge, don't forget, and it's
Yeah.
on Instagram and everywhere.
Thank you, Monica. I see
Monica,
it.
do you want to talk about, you want to ask the question?
Yeah,
ask
so
your
I
question,
do want to be
darling?
respectful of Kiyomi and Kelly's time with us, and I just have one question. Let's call it a final round of questions.
Okay.
It's a lightning round. Just give us the first answer off the top of your head, Kelly. 3 questions. Question number 1, what is your go-to menu item at Zippy's?
Oh, chili fried plate.
Yes. Okay. Totally on board with that answer.
I thought this was gonna
Question
be hard.
number 2, what is the one restaurant you always have to go to when you come to Hawaii?
Side Street Cafe, or Side Street Inn. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes,
sure.
we had that for Thanksgiving, so I'm totally feeling you. Sherwin's giving a thumbs up too. Okay.
Thanksgiving. That's such a great idea.
Oh my God. Kahlua turkey, lapchung stuffing, so good. Highly
I made
recommend.
jung this Thanksgiving. My mom moved to Vegas. I'm so
Oh.
upset. I know, she was living in Hawaii, and this was, you know, a Vegas Thanksgiving, like COVID Thanksgiving, and we made lapchung, jung with the lapchung inside. And yeah, it was
Oh.
amazing.
Sounds good. Okay, final question. Spam musubi with or without egg?
Wait, I don't think I've ever had it with the egg.
What?
Up.
Oh my God.
Okay, who's gonna make me spam musubi with egg? No, seriously?
You gotta
Wow, we
try
just
it.
all
You gotta
learned
try
something
it.
new about Kelly.
Wow. This
Kelly,
is
even I'm the mainlander, and I've had it.
really. Okay, wait. So you get the spam musubi, because I have turkey spam now. I'm so excited because I don't eat pork, yeah. So I can make the turkey spam with the musubi with the turkey spam, and then what, you just put fried egg on top?
It's like an egg omelet.
Oh,
It's like tamagoyaki. Kind of
It's like, yeah,
something like
doesn't
that.
say, yeah.
Somebody send me picture. Okay.
Kelly, we got you. We got you.
Right
Thank
on.
you so much, Kelly and Kiyomi, for being here to
Thank
celebrate my
Thank you.
birthday
Thank
and
you.
for sharing
Thank
about East West
you.
players.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very much.
guys.
Thanks,
Actually,
guys.
before
Birthday.
Kelly and Kiyomi have to leave, before Kelly and Kiyomi have to leave, could we just take one group photo together? So those of you that are
Sure.
comfortable, if you could turn on your camera. Lovely. And then this might also go on the Try for Charity social media too. So beautiful smiles. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I love it. Thank you, friends.
Yay.
Thank you. I love all these kids. Look at this little Marielle's kid.
Oh wait, there are
Hello,
children and I was
cutie pie.
swearing. I'm so sorry.
Everest, close your
PO
ears.
I know.
They're
I
gonna
know.
repeat it, Kelly. They're gonna say
I
that
know.
lady
I
with
know.
the pink
Don't tell them you learned from your
hair
Auntie
said
Kelly.
that word.
All right, so
Hiya.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
So
Bye,
I think-
Kels. Thank you.
thanks again, Kelly and Kiyomi. And so I think Nicole and Snehal from East West Players are just going to share a little bit more before we move on to the rest of our program.
Yes, there's Snehal. Hello.
Everyone. Happy birthday, Monica. I know it's not today, but happy.
Thank you, Snehal.
Where do we want to start? Where would be good? I did want to say I wanted to be supportive, Monica, of UCLA. So I tried to, you guys were talking about the game. So I tried to find a backdrop while we were all talking. And this is what I found. And then when someone did touchdown, I realized it's not the right sport. So we'll just go back to the theater. I'm just gonna blame it on the seasons. All of the seasons are off.
It's crazy, yes.
Right? We'll just say that. Let's go back to that. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. I think Kelly and Kiyomi just hopped off, but I want to. Oh, Kiyomi's still there. Thank you, Kiyomi. And it was so great to have Kelly join us.
I want to listen.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
I just want to listen to what you say.
Okay. I just want to listen to what you say. So we, I think Kiyomi and Monica set us up really well as to what East West Players does. Behind me, you can see our space. Has everyone seen a show at East West Players? Yes, if you want to put in the chat the shows you've seen. For those of you who have a thumbs down, Monica is going to take your name and bring you to the theater sometime in 2022, maybe 2023. We'll see.
Well, we have people joining from all over the country. So I love that you guys are doing digital programming right now.
Thank you. Thank you. So yes, we're about to announce a virtual season. I think we thought we wanted to see, how long things would last. But now that we know, we probably will not be able to open our doors in terms of welcoming audiences till most likely very late 2021. We wanted to use this opportunity to program virtually for a variety of reasons. One of being, the accessibility to theater has radically changed because of this pandemic. And so folks who can never join us before were wondering what East West Players was about, but never, felt that they could join us, can now see what our work is like. We can now reach audiences. The most moving thing has been to reach Asian Americans in parts of the country where there aren't Asian American theater companies and Asian American artists that they can meet and connect with. So I think it's been really great to both develop a national audience and then a global audience, particularly in the Philippines. I don't know, we're very big in the Philippines. So people have been joining us for a number of projects from across the globe. So it's been really great. What I can answer questions, or we can talk about anything in particular you guys want.
How can we best support you right now?
It's a great question. Well, I think just by being at this event tonight, I think Monica is an amazing ambassador for the arts and for the Asian American community. So I want to thank you for hosting these 3 events that you did. And, in this day and age, what's great is for you, we have our Crazy Talented Asians tomorrow on our YouTube page and our Facebook page, which is a free event at 5:30 PST, 8:30 Eastern time. So we ask you to just hop on and join us for that. And then as we announce our virtual season, which is called Between Worlds, if something strikes your fancy, we hope you will buy tickets and join us. We have this thing called the EWP Passport, which is one passport per household, and you can get access to all of our virtual programming over the next year. And we hope you all come back and join us and are there when we can reopen. But I think communities have been really wonderful. We've spent this time, hibernating, but also trying to figure out what we could do to support our artistic community, which has been hit very hard, as well as what we can do to support the larger Asian American community, which is, facing food insecurity and a number of issues related to the pandemic. And so we've been trying to reach out in those ways, and all of the support we've gotten, we've tried to help folks in our community in whatever ways we can.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Snehal and Kiyomi and Nicole and Kelly. My name is Natasha Wright. I am the founder and executive director of Chai for Charity. I'm super excited that East West Players is going into virtual programming, because I gave you a thumbs down because I live in Colorado. I went to UCLA and I was never invited to an East West Players production. But since then, both Monica and Kiyomi have invited me to attend. So I'm looking forward to 2021 or 22.
I also see Stephanie is on here. So Artists at Play is another organization. And I see Howard's. We have some folks from our folks who have been a regular part of the East West Player community over the years. So, but yes, please do join us no matter where you are in the country. And the best part is now you don't have to show up on time. You can watch these shows whenever you want to. So it is late seating all the time.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Snehal. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about Chai for Charity. As Monica mentioned, our mission is to inspire people to give in creative ways. And we started Chai for Charity. I started Chai for Charity 10 years ago when I was looking for a way to invest in local nonprofit efforts, did a bunch of research, got excited about sharing that information with my friends, and rallied 6 of my girlfriends across North America to run what we now call Chai for Charity on the same day at around the same time, and collectively raise $6,000 for survivors of domestic violence. Monica was one of those girlfriends way back when, and there are a couple more on this call. So much gratitude to them for trusting in me way back then. Monica is also to credit for creating the name Chai for Charity, which she brainstormed with me over drinks in Los Angeles. So we started a movement. I was really excited. And then 2 weeks later, I discovered that I was pregnant with my first son, and I've essentially been pregnant for 10 years. I have 3 sons under 10, and every year I go to my husband and say, this is the year that we relaunched Chai for Charity, and we'd purchase the domain over and over again, and then I'd get pregnant, or I'd be nursing a small child. So about 2 years ago, I relaunched Chai for Charity. Now we live in Colorado, which is why I'm not able to attend East West Players productions. But we live in Colorado. We ran our second event 8 years after the first one in my backyard here. And some of those folks are on this call too. Thank you for joining us. And again, it was electric. We started a thing. We became established 2 years ago this January. And the goal of Chai for Charity is to create a model of giving that is as inclusive as possible. So people of different socioeconomic backgrounds and generations can give in ways that honor where they are in life. Because 20-year-old me had lots of time, but no talent and no money. 40-year-old me has no time, some talent, some money. 60-year-old me will have a different version of those things. So at tonight's event, we worked with Monica to tell us about her 3 favorite nonprofits. And then we worked with the nonprofits to identify their needs in 4 categories: money, goods, time, and talent. And during this event, before, during, and after, actually, we invite you to give in all 4 of those categories by way of our PayPal account. It's bit.ly/chai-PayPal. These are in your emails, and we'll put it in chat as well. So bit.ly/chai-PayPal, and the wish list for goods, time, and talent is at bit.ly/chai-wishlist. Thank you so much. Monica.
Thank you, Natasha. And again, thank you to Kiyomi, Kelly, Snehal, and Nicole. So, in keeping with the theme of arts and creativity, that'll lead us to the next portion of the program, one of my favorite games, Photo Scavenger Hunt. I'll put the link into the chat, and in honor of my birthday, I have created a scavenger list of 21 of my favorite items. So give me 1 second while I drop the link in. So, okay. I will put everyone into breakout rooms and you'll have about 8 minutes to find these items. So just a few notes. You can take photos with your phone, camera, screenshot, whatever you're comfortable with. Each photo must have at least one team member in it, so I'll know which team it's from. You can text or email me your photos with the corresponding category, like whether it's a book or a cup, by the end of tomorrow. Full disclosure, brownie points will be given for creativity, flattery, and donations made to any of the charities highlighted in this birthday series. That being said, you don't have to play if you'd rather just chat and talk story, as we say in Hawaii, but there will be prizes for the winning team of each chai. So, as I mentioned, I've put the link into the chat, and I will see you all in a bit. Good luck.